Fixing your car with food.
Yep.
Just take it away from here, mate. I think Jaden's got a little photo
Should
there
be up
for
on
us
the
that we'll
screen
be able to
Oh,
see if you,
look at that.
if you're following along.
Mackenzie's.
So
That brings back some lovely memories.
Yeah,
you
it
know?
does.
Yeah, it
Can
does.
you explain a few of those lovely memories for us and set the scene a little bit?
Okay.
Especially for the ones that aren't seeing this.
Okay, well, buckle up, kids. Sit back, relax, top up that brew and more, because we're going for a ride. So, as you can see, it's on a Land Rover. It's on a Land Rover Series 3.
Yeah, so just to explain to people who are listening, we've got a Land Rover Series 3. We're looking at the radiator. Radiator cap is off, and next to it, and this is where Geoff's going to take over, there's an egg and there's some pepper.
That is right, Ronnie. Thank you for that, mate. So the reason why we got an egg and some cracked pepper there is because we were driving through Tasmania, and Tasmania, as we know, gets cold. It gets really, really cold. And we're driving up these mountains because they don't know what hills are over there. And there's snow on the windscreen. That's how cold it is. But the car's overheating. Now, that doesn't make sense, does it? You don't need to be a mechanic to say, that ain't right. That shouldn't do that. That's not what's on the packet. Anyway, cutting a very, very long story short, we found that the radiator cores, which are basically these cylinders in the radiators themselves, a couple of them had cracked and snapped. We're out in the middle of nowhere. We don't have any radiator stop leak because yours truly didn't pack it. Damon was not a happy camper. And so on the side of the road, I'm thinking, well, what can we do? I've got to get back for my wedding because I'm going to get married in a day or so. So we've got to get back, and we don't have money for a tow truck.
Is it that you were generally getting married the next day?
Yeah, I don't make stuff up. I can't act. I just tell the truth. And so I went back, and this is where there's no such thing as a useless piece of information. I watched a show years ago with a guy called Ben Dark. Some of you might know him. He was on Getaway. But he had another show where he drove around Australia in a Holden Kingswood, and he fixed his radiator with salt. Just so happens, a few days prior to doing this trip, I was chatting to a good mate of mine, Jono, and we were just talking about stuff that you talk about, cracked eggs and radiators and that. And he said, yeah, give that a go, or cracked pepper. We had nothing to lose, and when you're out in a remote area and your vehicle's broken down, you have nothing to lose too. So we walked down to the local IGA, got a packet of caged eggs, and obviously Mackenzie's ground pepper, buy the right pepper. And so we got the caged eggs, which are a bit smaller, so we thought, well, 2, 1 is none, chucked that in there, poked the yolk in, and then we just thought 2 tablespoons of Mackenzie's ground black pepper would work. Chuck that in too, 6.5 litres of water out of the tap, and started the Landy up. And 3 mountain ranges later, it didn't overheat. The only downside with that was that the overflow bottle overflowed, and that went on the exhaust, and it smelt like off oysters. But we got home to tell the tale, and that's what it's all about. You know?
Yeah.
So that's one you can use. Porridge is another one. Yep. Anyway, sorry, Ronnie.
Yeah, just going
Pull
back.
me back here.
So with the egg, like,
how does it work?
well, the egg could work on its own, right?
It could, but we just
why
not?
You said, one
we
is
had
none,
we had
2 is
we had cracked pepper on the shelf, so
Sure.
you know, why not put a garnish on your meal? You know? But you're right. You can use, and Ronnie's spot on there. You can use cracked pepper just on its own. You can use eggs just on its own too, and you can also use instant porridge is another one that works really well.
Interesting.
So what they all do is the same, basically. When you boil the kettle at home and it gets to the point where it's just about to boil, it starts rattling around and it's hissing or it's screaming or something like that. It's releasing the pressure. And when you put the egg in or the cracked pepper or the instant porridge, all it's doing is going to that point where the pressure's released. Now, your radiator will change in temperature, but it'll run at around about 80 degrees centigrade. So that'll actually take the egg down to the point where all the water's getting released. The egg is obviously thicker than water. It'll get stuck there, and because the egg's high in protein, it'll actually solidify and go really, really hard. And we've all burnt an egg on the barbecue, haven't we? And we've all burnt it in the fry pan, and we know how hard it is to get off. That's exactly what it does. Now, the plus side of it is that the egg will go through the rest of the motor, but you can clean it out. And this is another little bush mechanic trick, Duggo. The humble dishwasher. You get 2 tablets, Ronnie, and we've talked about this.
Yes.
And you put your new radiator in, you fill it up with water, you crush up the 2 dishwashing tablets and put that in. What do dishwashing tablets do? They clean egg off your plates. They do the same for your motor. So they'll actually clean everything out of the water jacket of the motor, dump it out of the radiator, and you can start fresh. Now, if you use silver solder, that won't be the case. Because it's solder, that'll get actually deposited in different parts of your motor and you'll never get it out.
Yeah.